We've put a lot of research and a lot of time in trying to explain the documents that are dealing with what we call birth registration. I think that there is some people in the audience that are realizing it, but a lot of other people are not really gathering the knowledge from the videos. And of course, they're sending in, of course, emails of rationalizations and problematic situations they may be, concerned with at the moment. But the key thing with these videos is get you to understand the rudiment, the basis of how this system that you are surrounded with works. Now, when we're dealing with this document, the Statement of Birth Record, which there's a lot of controversy over, to an extent, you have to realize some basic concepts. Noah Webster's 1828 defined the term unarmed as a man is born unarmed. Now, everything is based on, an offensive or a defensive situation regarding the term legal arms. And so in legal society, which is a offensive concept to begin with, it's offensive to truth, it's offensive to peace, it's offensive to spirituality. It basically goes in a direction that most people wouldn't see. So the Statement of Birth Record reflects Noah Webster's 1828, which is a man is born unarmed, especially as a child. So certainly he would not be born with the use of a surname. That is something that is assumed because law works on, in the legal, it works on assumption. So when we're talking about a lot of these, sovereignty patriot groups, free men on the land movements, many things now that are all lumped together as dissidents against the legal society that are willing to wage war against it. The concept of this birth certificate, which is a charging instrument, and it contains all the charges for you trespassing on something that you were not born with. You were not born, basically in a time frame that reflects no Jesus Christ. No, it reflects Jesus Christ. So therefore, you were born under the reign of Jesus Christ, who wiped out all debt, all charges, and he's the Prince of Peace. So these instruments, these debt instruments, only are there for those who are willing to be part of something with no solution. And they take on the charges by carrying these instruments and shirting them. It's amazing how many people will never let this go. Just to let you know, this is just a facsimile of what it was before. This is not the instrument that was issued. Okay, so this is just a facsimile of one to let you know I'm not still in possession of the original that was issued. But under just military law and being here in Canada would be no different than the US, charges are not disclosed on a matter involving a legal person that's being charged with something that's not theirs, especially in title, because it is military. You're using an arms surname. That's a military weapon. That's part of armed force. So to be very clear on this, charges are not disclosed for national security reasons because it's none of your business what they're doing with these instruments. So why would you be chasing something that you really don't have a right to? And is it because of your lack of knowledge, ego, arrogance, belligerence that you feel you've been used? Well, you know what? It requires two to tango. And for you to be used, you would have to be consenting to that. And therefore, because you do not know the remedy at the moment, doesn't mean that you're still not operating in the wrong side. And as we gave an example of someone in a burning house, because the house is burning, and it may be a rental house or a house that they don't have real title for, they know that. It's amazing how people think in the rental world that somehow that makes sense that they don't own it, but then they think when someone owns something in the legal world, which is a ridiculous concept, that somehow they're in a better position. But let's just take both scenarios. The house you're in is burning. Now, would you sit in that house on that couch and say, well, I don't know where I'm going to be next because I don't have a house to go into if this house burns down, so I'll just burn down with the house? Does that make sense? So when people are challenging what we're talking about in these videos, they have to get ready for the harsh truth reality that it is inconvenient to wake up to truth when you're operating in the fiction, because everything you've been doing is completely based on your own consent and misconception. And therefore, if you choose to continue to be deceived into thinking something is yours when it is not yours, well then, unfortunately, we can't help you through these videos. And so we have to get down to these basics in order to get through this. So again, we're not trying to attack anybody here. We're just saying the realities are that when you're in a misconception of thought, the only way to clear that up is to understand where and how this all begins. And because this document is certainly not a go-ahead document that the parents filled out, this is not a document that gives you the right to bear arms. It's actually a prohibition document. And therefore, they would have to issue you a charge document that would hold you responsible for whatever you'd be doing entering into such a lottery or gamble. And therefore, the game begins and you push play. So be concerned that if you're sending me emails that are rationalizing or trying to stay in the system because it seems like you may be challenged in your faith, well, then that's basically what is going to be. I cannot place anything other than what I found in the research up here, and that's all we're going to do, and we're staying very focused on that. So if you believe that you're going to be chasing arms, money, legal title, then you need to turn off these videos. So we hope all the best for everybody, but we're going to continue putting up the truth on this site.